everybody, Dylan Cachet here. Welcome to another episode of Dylan's Disney Movie Reviews. Let's talk about the Disney Studios during the 1950s. During that decade, there were a bunch of movies that were in development since the 1930s, but they couldn't make them until after World War II. These include Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan. There was one more of these that wouldn't be completed until much later, and that's what I'm reviewing this week. Released on June 22nd, 1955, the movie is Lady and the Tramp. The movie opens in a small town on Christmas morning where in one house, a man called Jim Dear, voiced by the late Lee Miller, gives his wife called Darling, voiced by the late Peggy Lee, a Cocker Spaniel puppy as a present in a hat box, who she names Lady.
Oh, how sweet.
You like her, darling?
Oh, I love her. What a perfectly beautiful little lady.
Later that night, Jim Dear and Darling try to put Lady to bed, but she's lonely, so they let her sleep with them for that night. 6 months later, Lady, voiced by the late Barbara Luddy, has grown into a fine dog, and they get her a collar with a license.
Hope it fits. My, but it does look nice. So grown up. Won't Jock and Trusty be surprised?
Lady then goes out to show her new collar to a Scottish Terrier named Jock, voiced by the late Bill Thompson.
Jock. Oh, Jock. Hello, Jock.
Oh, it's you, Lassie.
Notice anything different?
You've had a bath.
No, not that.
You've had your nails clipped.
Guess again.
Well, I wouldn't be known. Why, Lassie, a bonny new collar.
Do you like it?
Aye. It must be very expensive. Have you shown it to Trusty yet?
No.
We'd best go at once. You know how sensitive he is about these things.
They then visit Trusty, an old bloodhound voiced by the late Bill Bockham, and Jock tells Lady that he's lost his sense of smell.
Which way did he go? Which way did he go?
Go?
Yeah, big fella. About 6'2". No, 3. Wore a striped suit, no collar. Why, Miss Lady, you have a collar.
Mm-hmm. And a license.
My, how time does fly.
Aye. It seems only yesterday she was cutting her teeth on Jim Dear's slippers, and now there she is, a full-grown lady.
Lady then hears Jim Dear whistling for her, and she runs to him.
Hello there, lady. Come on, beat you home. Oh, you win again. Steady now. Steady. Well, what have we here? Oh, big girl now, huh? All right. Oh, ladies first. You know, darling, with Lady here, I'd say life is quite complete.
Yes, dear. I don't imagine anything could ever take her place in our hearts.
One morning, in another part of town, on the other side of the train tracks, a stray Mongo named Tramp, voiced by the late Larry Roberts, wakes up and goes to Tony's restaurant for breakfast.
Well, buongiorno, Butch. You want your breakfast, eh? Okay. The boss, he's a saving some nice bones for you. Breakfast coming up from a left field. Good catch.
While chewing on that bone, he hears the dog catcher coming by. He then sees a bulldog named Bull and a Pekingese named Peg, voiced by Bill Thompson and Peggy Lee, respectively.
Hiya, handsome. Come to join the party?
All right. No time for wisecracks. I've got to get you out.
He lets them out of the back of the wagon and runs away from the dog catcher. At Lady's house, Jock and Trusty come over and find her outside, and she tells them about how Jim, Dear, and Darling have been treating her lately.
Now, lassie, dinna take it too seriously. After all, at a time like this, there's...
Why, yes. You see, Miss Lady, there comes a time in the life of all humans when, well, as they put it, the birds and the bees, or, well, the stork, no.
Jock and Trusty explain to Lady that Jim, Dear, and Darling are expecting a baby.
Oh. What's a baby?
Well, they resemble humans.
But I'd say a mite smaller.
Aye, and they walk on all fours.
And if I remember correctly, they beller a lot.
Aye, and they're very expensive. You will not be permitted to play with it.
But they're mighty sweet.
And very, very soft.
Tramp then arrives and tells Lady what will happen once the baby comes.
Oh, remember those nice, juicy cuts of beef? Forget 'em. Leftover baby food. And that nice, warm bed by the fire. A leaky doghouse.
Oh, dear.
Dinna listen, lassie. No human is that cruel.
Of course not, Miss Lady. Why, everybody knows a dog's best friend is his human.
Oh, come on now, fellas. Oh, you haven't fallen for that old line now, have you?
Aye, and we've no need for mongrels and radical ideas. Off with you now. Off with you. Off with you.
Okay, Sandy.
The name's Jock.
Okay, Jock.
Heather lad of Glencairn to you.
Okay. But remember this, Pigeon. A human heart has only so much room for love and affection. When a baby moves in, the dog moves out.
During the next few months, while Jim, Dear, and Darling are waiting for the baby, Lady worries about what will become of her. Then one night in April, the baby arrives and it's a boy.
Yes, and Sarah, it's a boy. Aha, a boy. And what's that? Eyes? Oh, what color are they? Oh, gosh. I forgot to look. A boy. It's a boy. It's a doctor. Doctor, it's a boy.
Yes, I know.
A boy. Oh, boy. It's a boy. It's a boy. It's a boy.
Hello, Jim? Are you there, Jim? Central, we've been cut off. Hello.
One day, Lady wonders what a baby is, and comes a song as she walks upstairs.
What is a baby anyway? Oh, what is a baby? I must find out today. What makes Jim, Dear, and Darling act this way? La la loo, la la loo. Oh, my little star sweeper, I'll sweep the stardust for you. La la loo, little soft, fluffy sleeper. Here comes a pink cloud for you.
Lady soon bonds with the baby. Later, Jim Deere and Darling leave for a short trip, and Jim Deere's Aunt Sarah, voiced by the late Verna Felton, arrives to watch the baby. But she won't let Lady come near him because she hates dogs.
Good gracious, what are you doing here? Go on now, shoot. Scat, get out of here. Oh, there. Aunt Sarah won't let that dog frighten you anymore. No. Rock-a-bye, baby, on the treetop.
Downstairs, Lady meets Aunt Sarah's two Siamese cats, Cy and Am, both voiced by Peggy Lee, and comes a song called the Siamese Cat Song as they mess up the living room.
Do you seeing that thing swimming round and round? Yes. Maybe we could reaching in and make it drown. If we sneaking up upon it carefully, there will be a head for you, a tail for me.
Aunt Sarah hears all the racket, comes downstairs and sees Cy and Am pretending to be her and thinks that Lady attacked them, so she takes Lady to the pet store to get her a muzzle.
Here's our latest combination leash and muzzle. Now we'll just slip it on like this and... no. Nice doggy. No, don't wiggle. Steady now. Now. Careful, you little...
Watch out.
Doggy. Careful, doggy. Come on.
Lady then runs off with the muzzle on her face and gets chased by three big dogs. Tramp then shows up and fights them.
Hey, Pidge, what are you doing on this side of the tracks?
He then sees the muzzle on Lady's face, so he takes her to the zoo to get it removed. But since it doesn't allow dogs inside, Tramp creates a distraction for the guard.
Hey, you!
I beg your pardon. Where are you addressing?
What's the matter? Can't you read?
Why, yes, in several languages.
Oh, a wise guy, eh? All right, now, what's this creature doing here?
Oh, he's not my dog.
Oh, he's not, eh?
Go away. Get down. Go on. Why, certainly not, officer.
I suppose you'll be telling me next. It was the dog that was whistling, eh?
I'm certain I don't know.
Oh, so I'm a liar now, am I? Well, you listen to me. Aha! Resisting officer of the law. You're in a plan. No! Pull a knife on me, will you? Trying to assassinate me, are. Carrying concealed weapons. Somebody call the rider. I'm gonna have it.
Lady and Tramp enter the zoo where they look for an animal to remove the muzzle. They soon find a beaver, voiced by the late Stan Freeberg.
Pardon me, friend. I wonder if you'd do us a little...
Busy, Sonny, busy. Can't stop the gossip now. Gotta slide this sycamore to the Swamp?
Yeah, well, this'll only take a second of your time.
Only a second? Listen, Sonny. Do you realize every second 70 centimeters of water is wasted over that spillway?
Yeah, but...
The beaver tries to move the log over to his dam, but he's having trouble, so Tramp tells him that the muzzle is used for pulling logs.
The busy beaver's friend.
You don't say.
Guaranteed not to wear, tear, rip, or ravel. Turn around, sister, and show the customer the merchandise. And it cuts log hauling time 66%.
66%, eh? Think of that. Well, how's it work?
Why, it's no work at all. You merely slip this ring over the limb like this and haul it off.
You mind if I slip it on for size?
Help yourself, friend. Help yourself.
Okay. Don't mind if I do.
So the beaver bites the muzzle off of Lady's face and uses it to pull the log.
Say, it works well.
Later that night, Tramp takes Lady around town and then takes her to Tony's for dinner.
Just 1 minute, I'm a-coming, What's the matter? Somebody's making the apple a fool with... Oh, hello, Butch. Where you been so long? Hey, Joe, look who's here.
Well, what do you know? It's a Butch.
Hey, Joe. Joe, bring some bones for Butch before he eat me up.
Okay, Tony. Okay. Bones are coming up.
Tony, voiced by the late George Gibbet, then sees Lady, sets up a table for her and Tramp, serves them spaghetti, and comes the song Bella Notte.
Oh, this is the night. It's a beautiful night, and we call it Bella Notte. Look at the skies, they have stars in their eyes on this lovely Bella Notte. Side by side with your loved one, you'll find an enchantment here. The night will weave its magic spell when the one you love is near.
After dinner, Lady and Tramp go for a walk in the park.
This lovely Bella Notte, side by side with your loved one, you'll find enchantment here. The night will weave its magic spell when the one you love is near. For this is the night, and the heavens are right on this lovely.
The next morning, Lady tries to go home, but Tramp tries to get her to stay with him. However, Lady chooses to go home and watch the baby, so Tramp takes her home, but first he chases some chickens.
Some fun, eh, kid?
Hey, what's going on in there?
What's that?
That's the signal to get going.
Lady and Tramp manage to escape from a man trying to shoot them, but as they run away, Lady gets caught by the dog catcher and taken to the pound where she meets a bunch of stray dogs, including Bull and Peg.
They don't mean no real harm.
He's like Gorky says in Lower Depths, quote, "Miserable being must find more miserable being. Then he's happy," unquote.
Boris is a philosopher.
Besides, little Bublitsky, wearing license here, that is like waving, you should excuse the expression, red flag in front of bull.
My license?
But what's wrong with it?
There ain't nothing wrong with it, dearie.
Confidential. Is not one dog here would not give a left hind leg for such a knick-knack.
That's your passport to freedom, honey.
The stray dogs then mention that Tramp has never gotten caught and he's had many girlfriends, which they say are his weakness.
Let's see. There's been Lulu.
Yeah, and Trixie.
And Fifi.
And my sister, Rosita Chiquita Juanita Chihuahua, I think.
What a dog.
Then comes a song called He's a Tramp.
He's a tramp, but they love him. Breaks a new heart every day. He's a tramp, they adore him, and I only hope he'll stay that way. He's a tramp, he's a scoundrel, he's a rounder, he's a cad, he's a tramp, but I love him. Yes, even I have got it pretty bad. You can never tell when he'll show up. He gives you plenty of trouble. I guess he's just a no-count pup. But I wish that he were double. He's a tramp. He's a rover. And there's nothing more to say.
After the song, Aunt Sarah arrives to take Lady home and she chains her up in the backyard as punishment for running away. Jock and Trusty then come by and try to get Lady to marry and live with one of them.
You're both very kind, and I do appreciate it, but...
Tramp then arrives to apologize to Lady and she berates him for all of his past girlfriends.
Who is Trixie?
Trixie?
And Lulu, and Fifi, and Rosita Chiquita, whatever her name is.
Chiquita, oh, yes, well, I
As far as I'm concerned, you needn't worry about your old heel.
My heel?
I don't need you to shelter and protect me.
Yes, but...
If you grow careless, don't blame me. And I don't care if the Cossacks do pick you up. Goodbye. And take this with you.
Tramp then leaves, and then Lady sees a rat climbing up into the baby's room. Tramp returns after hearing Lady barking at the rat, and she tells him that the rat went into the baby's room. So Tramp enters the house, goes up to the baby's room, and finds the rat. While Tramp chases the rat around the room, Lady gets loose, Tramp knocks over the baby's crib, waking it, Lady enters, and Tramp kills the rat. Aunt Sarah then enters the room and thinks that Lady and Tramp attacked the baby. She traps Tramp in a closet, Lady in the basement, and calls the pound.
Hello! I don't care if you are alone there, young man. I insist you pick him up immediately.
Jim Deere and Darling return from their trip and see the dog catcher's wagon in front of their house.
Well, what do you suppose? Say, what's going on here? Just picking up a stray, mister. Come on, get out. Caught him attacking a baby. Good heavens.
My baby.
Aunt Sarah!
Aunt Sarah! Aunt Sarah!
Aunt Sarah!
Aunt Sarah!
I was certain he was no good the moment I first laid eyes on him.
Yeah, but, I never thought he'd do a thing like that.
Aunt Sarah tells Jim Deere and Darling that Lady and Tramp were attacking the baby. Jim Deere lets Lady out of the basement, and she shows them the dead rat in the baby's room. Jock and Trusty hear this and go after the wagon.
Now what?
The scent. Follow the scent.
Let's face it, man. We both know you've lost your sense of smell.
Krusty manages to pick up the dog catcher's scent, and he and Jock catch up to the wagon, causing it to crash. Jim Deere and Lady arrive, and Krusty's badly hurt. Later at Christmas time, Tramp's been adopted into the family, and he and Lady have started a family of their own with 3 Cocker Spaniel puppies like Lady and a Mongrel puppy like Tramp. They're then visited by Jock and Trusty, and the latter is still healing from the accident.
Oh, no doubt about it. They've got their mother's eyes.
But there's a bit of the father in them, too. Well, and I see you finally acquired a collar.
Oh, yes. Complete with license.
Oh, yes. The new collar. Caught the scent the moment it came in the house. Trusty R says, Trusty, somebody's wearing a new collar.
Of course, my sense of smell is very highly developed. Runs in the family, you know.
There'll be no living with him from now on.
Krusty then starts telling the puppies about what his grandpappy Old Reliable used to say.
He'd say,
Doggone. You know, I clean forgot what it was he used to say.
And that was Lady and the Tramp. What did I think of it? It was really good. On a budget of $4 million, the movie earned $6.5 million in distributor rentals during its original release and got mixed reviews from critics. Then, after all the re-releases in 1962, 1971, 1980, and 1986, the movie made a lifetime gross of $93.6 million domestically and $187 million worldwide and got better reviews. Now let's move on to the production of the film. One night, Walt Disney gave his wife Lillian a dog as a present in a hat box, similar to how Jim Deere does at the beginning of the movie. And there are legends that that's what started the story. But the idea of the movie actually started in 1937 when Disney story artist Joe Grant thought of an idea based on his English Springer Spaniel Lady, about how she was pushed aside when Joe and his wife had their baby Carol. He showed Walt some drawings of Lady, which Walt liked and got Grant to start story development. It would be about a dog's antics and have a mean mother-in-law who owned 2 evil cats. Grant and some other artists worked on the story during the late 1930s and early 1940s and took many approaches. But Walt didn't like any of them, mainly because of Lady and how she was too sweet and there wasn't enough action. Then Walt read a short story in a Cosmopolitan magazine by Ward Green called Happy Dan the Cynical Dog and thought that having Lady fall in love with a cynical dog would make Grant's story better. So he got the rights to it. When naming the cynical dog, they went through various names like Homer, Rags, and Bozo, but then they went with Tramp. Because of Walt's changes to the story, Grant left the studio in 1949 and didn't get any story credit as it only mentioned Ward Green. When it was time to do the animation, like they did with the deer in Bambi, the animator studied the movements of various dog breeds to capture them in the film. Originally, Mary Blair was going to be the background artist, and she even did some inspiration sketches. But then she left the studio to become a children's book author in 1953. So Claude Coates was hired as the key background artist. Coates also made 3D models of the inside of Jim Deere and Darling's house and took some pictures from a low perspective to maintain Lady's view. The town that the movie is set in was inspired by Walt's hometown, Marceline, Missouri. For the scene where Lady and Tramp are eating spaghetti, which would later become one of the movie's most notable scenes, Walt wanted to remove it because he thought that two dogs eating spaghetti was ridiculous and not romantic. However, Frank Thomas went against this and animated the entire scene by himself. Afterwards, Walt was pleased with it and decided to keep it in. Originally, the movie was going to be filmed in the regular full-frame aspect ratio, but then widescreen became popular for moviegoers and they decided to animate the movie in CinemaScope, making this movie the first animated feature to be filmed in the process. But it did come with some problems for the animators, like expanding the space to create more realism and fewer close-ups. Another problem was that not all theaters were able to show CinemaScope, so they had to make two versions of the movie, one in full frame ratio and the other in widescreen. For the music, the score was composed by Oliver Wallace, making this the last Disney film he composed the score for before passing the baton to George Bruns, and the songs were written by Sonny Burke and Peggy Lee. And now it's time for me to give my opinion on the film. In the end, Lady and the Tramp is a nice movie. For being the first animated feature filmed in CinemaScope, I give it 4 stars out of 5. Well, that's it for Lady and the Tramp. Be sure to join next week when I'll be reviewing the Disney movie based on Jules Verne's 1868 adventure novel, Captain Grant's Children. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell your friends about me, leave some questions in the comments below, subscribe, and hit that like button.
You